Hi Gemini, I'm Desi. This is my channel, Starchaeology Tarot. It is a joy to have you here. I'm so grateful to see you today. This is your January 2021 tarot reading. This is good for Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. If you'd like a more specific reflection on what your January is going to look like, I highly encourage you to check out your other placements. All 12 signs will be up if they're not already by the time you're viewing this. And I just want to take a moment before I start, you guys, to thank you so much for your support. Thank you for liking, subscribing, sharing. No action goes unnoticed or unappreciated. I'm really devoted to building this community of support, it's support and it's a combination of support and fostering self-growth for those of us who are really devoted to that. So every action you do that does help me in some way and support the growth of this channel means so much to me. I could cry. With that being said, let's dive in. If you have any specific intentions that you want to set or questions you want to ask about January, focus on that now while I tune in with spirit and shuffle. Can't wait to see what January's looking like for you guys. Gemini, things may have been out of balance for you lately. You may feel that in certain areas of your life, feeling a lack of balance, a lack of moderation. We have all major arcana cards here, which is nuts. The beginning of 2021 could be really groundbreaking for you, I'm hearing, in some way. But there's also an element of destiny to it. And that element of destiny, this is all for the sake of you stepping into your role as creator. The Empress card flew out while I was shuffling, so that's kind of the umbrella card for the rest, for these other three. And that tells me that everything that is happening in January for you is for the sake of creation. It's for the sake of letting abundance flow in your life, letting things finally blossom, finally reaping the harvest of your hard work. And that creation can take form in any way whatsoever. It's really harnessing the power of your feminine energy, your mother energy, the great mother, the great feminine, divine feminine energy. And that can mean regarding a specific project that you want to birth into the world. It can, some of you, it's like you're giving birth in January. Others are getting pregnant in January. Some of you are giving birth to the next iteration of yourself in January. You are very much feeling like this is the version of you that you have withheld from the world. And maybe even it's been vice versa. I'm hearing like some of you are like, the world hasn't let you be the version of you that you know you really are. So you're giving birth to that. You're recreating yourself constantly, rebirthing yourself constantly. And this is really beautiful. It's creative energy in its purest form, however you want to channel that, however you want to use it. You are at the height of your power and potential in doing that in January. But these other cards, all serving the Empress in this endeavor, means that this form of creating, this form of removing blocks to let abundance flow, to let creative water flow, the creative waters flow, that feminine wildness, to let that flow, to let inspiration flow. That might look different than you expected it to look. And I say that because we have Temperance, we have the Tower, and we have the Wheel of Fortune. There might be some curveball events that happen for you in January that feel destructive. And it's important for you to keep in mind, Gemini, that you cannot have this kind of great creation. You cannot have this effect on the world, bring something into the world, especially if it is something big. You can't birth it into the world without destroying something else. And that really is the Temperance card in its purest form. It's just like balancing things out, rebalancing. This is about the balance between creation and destruction. And there may be things that fall apart for you, that go up in flames and crumble. And those things are fated. They are destined to crumble. They are destined to fall apart, to be destroyed. So surrender to that. Don't fight it, because you don't need that. Whatever falls away, you don't need it in order to create what you are destined to create this month. This will rebalance your life in a way. I think, going back to what I said in the beginning of you feeling out of balance, that could be because things that haven't been destroyed and need to be destroyed are causing that imbalance. So you're out of balance because you've been trying to keep alive things that need to be destroyed. It's kind of a misguided effort to be this creative force in the world, to be acting in the name of creation and abundance, without recognizing that goes hand in hand with things disappearing, things falling away, things being destroyed. Sometimes when we are in that creative flow, we think it's hard for us to recognize the other side of the coin, the role of the other side of the coin. It's hard for us to get in touch with destructive energy, which is divine oftentimes and enlightening, very important for us, because we think of it as being the opposite of creation, when really it is the companion of creation. It is a crucial companion of creation. So do not avoid that destruction. Do not run from that. If anything, you can help the creative process by surrendering more quickly to it, by surrendering to whatever this lightning strike is that might come out of nowhere and really surprise you and destroy something. Something's going to crumble to the ground. And that can be anything from like a very solid, tangible thing in your life, as tangible as a building. And it can also be as intangible as a belief system, a set of ideas, expectations that you've carried with you for a very long time that have limited you in some way. Because the Tower does usually refer to something often psychological or often emotional, that a psychological, emotional structure of some sort that we've used mistakenly as a form of protection. We've been misguided in thinking that the Tower only serves to keep us safe, when really we miss that it might also be limiting us in some ways. So when a tower falls down in our lives, whatever that metaphor is, that metaphorical tower, when it falls, the act of that destruction is always enlightening, and there is great light being shed for you on whatever this thing is you're trying to create, whatever this thing you're trying to give birth into the world is. The birth story of this, especially if you've been struggling to give birth in this way, to give birth to this thing or this person. There's some sort of enlightenment that is happening in January, like a missing piece that comes into play that you see thanks to the destruction of this other element in your life. That rebalancing, you might have been thinking very black and white, like it's either or, either you are creating or you are destroying, but it's not that. There is a middle path, and that is why this Temperance card is here. There is a harmonizing of the forces of destruction and creation that work together, and that middle path might feel impossible to you. There's always it's funny how we are sometimes so black and white that we can't see the more moderate, a more moderate approach or a more balanced approach as being feasible, as being possible. That we trick ourselves into thinking that's the impossible thing, when really harmony is what is natural. Harmonizing of polarity, harmonizing of duality, holding space for both of those things is the nature of our existence. And embracing that is really unlocking a key to your creative process for you. It's making your mind, your body, your heart, whatever it is, more fertile. This I do want to just touch on to wrap up. The Wheel of Fortune being here, this is karmic. So, and that's why also the Tower is here. It's an act of God. This is something that happens that is outside of you. So don't get caught up in thinking, why didn't I do this earlier? Or how, this is completely my responsibility to make this happen in January. There are forces outside of you, and that is the force of karma. That is at work. This act of God, lightning bolt, this lightning strike, this is something that is out of your control. It's going to happen regardless of what you do. What you do your will only exists in your reaction to that. How you accept it, whether you surrender to it, whether you move with it or resist it. That is where your authority comes into play. That is where your creative power and prowess comes into play. But there is an element of destiny here, of synchronicity, of things lining up, the destruction of this thing aligning in your life in a perfect, in a kind of scarily perfect way. Pay attention to synchronicity this month. Pay attention to the strange coincidences. They are not meaningless. They are all there for your benefit. And the more you are aware of those things, the more you awaken to those things, take note of them, observe them, reflect on them, and question, what is the meaning of this? And really think about that. The more you also help yourself and support yourself in this process. This could be a huge month for you, Gemini. Really cool. I'd love to hear how this unfolds for you. Feel free to comment below. Let me know what your situation is right now, where you're finding yourself. I love to get feedback, because I know that these readings, they look so different from Gemini to Gemini, based on what else is in your chart and who you are. So I would love to get your comments. And I'm wishing you all the luck in that too, because Wheel of Fortune, that there is an element of luck in the Wheel of Fortune card, and you definitely have it this month. So acknowledge that and thank the universe for that. Thank you for being here. I so appreciate you. I love you. I'm grateful for you. Happy New Year, and I'll see you next time.